What's going on, you guys? For another episode of working on this dart. And today, and a couple days ago, I've actually been trying to work on the bumpers and see if I can get them tucked and kind of a little bit trimmed up to make them nice and flush with the car like they were like in the 60s and 70s, instead of having these huge bumperettes on the back of them, like 1974 to 75. All those cars started having bumperettes on them and shock absorbers and whatnot, that for like a 5 mile per hour crash test rating, that you had to have 5 miles an hour in a crash test and have zero damage. So what I'm doing now is taking that stuff out and making it like it was in 1970 again, just to try to make the car look a little bit nicer. As you see here, I have my son with me. He's playing his pad game. He wants to be out here no matter what I'm doing. And here's the car. So as you see here on the front, you see how big that gap is. Usually it's filled up with a plastic nylon piece. And usually it's filled up with that to cover up this big old gap for their bumperettes and whatnot that you usually have on these cars. And as you can see, the shock absorber right there that's hooked up to the frame of the car, that blacker part you see is actually the inside that actually goes in and out when it gets hit. There's actually a spring inside those that springs back out as soon as it gets hit. What I'm going to do is probably compress it and then weld it like I did the backs. And I'll show you the back in a second. Right now, actually, while my son is just being very loud and playing with his game. So as you see here, the back is actually tucked now. And I'll actually show you some pictures of what the car used to look like when before I actually messed with this. Don't mind the bodywork. This is just all Bondo from the previous owner that I have to fix. Same thing as the other side. So right now I'm just messing with the bumpers, getting the bumpers lined out. You see all that nasty looking Bondo that's sitting on this car. I'll tear this whole piece off and put a whole new back quarter panel on it. But as you see here, I actually had to cut this out right here because it was sticking out way out here, and you'll see in the pictures when I put the pictures up. I still have to put some Bondo, grind it down a little bit more here, put some Bondo on it, make it nice and smooth, and then just repaint the bumper. But it's pretty lined out, pretty straight, and nice and tucked. So what I'm going to do now is go to the front and start working on that and see if I can get this bumper tucked. Thank you. Okay, so what I decided to do is I'm going to go and take these bolts off. This bolt here, there's a bolt on the bottom, one on each, two on each side, one on each two on each shock absorber on this bumper. And the reason why I want to do that is I actually want to get in here, and this back frame right here that holds this outer cover, actual nice part of the bumper on, I'm actually going to take this off. You'd be amazed at how heavy this bumper is. When I had to put everything back on the car to show you what it looked like, it's probably over 100 pounds, I would not doubt. I mean, I had to get a jack and 2 jack stands to actually get the thing lined back up to get the bolts back into place and all that. So I'm thinking to try to lighten up this front end a little bit, since I have the 440 in there, and that's a 500-pound motor sitting right there, and I have 150 pounds sitting in the front right here. I think that's a lot of weight on the front end, especially on all this older suspension parts. Even though the suspension and steering is mostly new in this car, I still have some old bushings and stuff I still have to replace. So that's going to be later on down the road when the car is actually starting to drive. So I'm going to try to lighten up this front end just a little bit and see what we can go from there. I got these 4 bolts off, and I actually had my wife come out here and hold the bumper for me so it didn't fall down on me when I got the last bolt out. So as you can see here, the shock absorber I was talking about, it's pretty worn out to begin with, but I'm not really going to be using the shock part of it. I'll just be using it now as just a mounting bracket. I'm going to go and clean all these up here, grind these all off, make them look nice and pretty. Probably sand them, paint them, and whatnot, just to make the car look a little nicer down below. And but first, let's get this back plate off right here. This whole unit. Let's see, we got two. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. 6 bolts. All right. On second thought, I feel like taking this whole this whole support thing out, trying to figure out a good way to be able to make it mount flush with that to keep it from being at an angle when it's getting mounted. Because you notice here, this has a nice straight, you know, pretty much incline with the bumper overall. And I'm afraid if I put that up, this flat part right here up against here, it's not going to be angled correctly. But I really want to get this weight out of here. I mean, this is 120 wall thick plate right here. And that's probably about 50 pounds. So I think I'm going to go. The bolts on the opposite side were pretty much rusted out. And anytime I try to loosen it up, it would just twist this and then it just kept spinning. So it was pretty much pointless to do the back side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a grinder. I'm going to grind in a nice X pattern and eat this bolt up without trying too bad and grinding too much into the actual bumper itself. So, alright guys, so now I've actually got it mocked up. Nothing's done yet, just kind of mocked it up to the car. Try to get the angle just alright. Yeah, I got scratches on the bumper, but I'm trying to sand it down and paint it. So, it's not too bad. Both sides are pretty even. I got a nice gap down here at the bottom. I have to have a gap here because that's where the hood latch is going to be. So I have to make sure I get the hood latch in there. So, in there. She is ready to be mounted to the car. Pretty good. Sticks out a little bit farther than the actual grill, which is fine. Rather the bumper hit the car before the grill hits the car, so cool. Let me get on with the car real quick. Let me show you what's exactly going on here. So I don't know if you can really see it. There's the bumper mount. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to modify something to fit inside here. Drill a hole all the way through it. And drill a hole through this bottom one right here. And then put a bolt to the other side of the drill a hole through the actual bumper. And then you put a bolt right through the bumper. Same thing as the other side. See there. And then you should be able to mount it. The bumpers, looks like the bumper that's coming out right, or the shock absorber's coming out right here. So I'm able to like just put a drill and get some nice decent looks and bolts. Whatever, I'll just mount it to that and go from there. Maybe some like hex bolts or something like that. Something a little bit nicer. And then I'll have to rebody work all these holes. Had to get all these damn bolts out of there that were rusted apart on that brace and just destroyed my bumper. But I can beat it back out and body work it, maybe patch it with a little piece of metal on the back side and then fill it up with welds and grind it all off nice and smooth and grind up pretty much all these little holes. Plus bumper, and then do some triple die over the bottom. Alright, probably stop tonight and probably in the morning. So this is the update for the next day. So I got everything lined up and I pretty much tacked everything together for these two shock absorber mounts for the for the bumper. And it's pretty much all lined up exactly where it needs to be. I mocked everything up and then kind of tacked it all together and brought it back down. And pretty much right now I'm tacking in all these little holes with little small plates. I'm going to weld the back side of it here. I'm going to leave those two there for just in case somebody ever buys my car or whatever. I'll leave the license plate holder just in case, the holes on it. And then keep going down, all the way down. I got to weld all that around there. And I weld this all the way around there. I end up not buying, but I had some metal hanging around. It's 2x4 083 wall tubing. So I just cut it to length and stuck it in the bumper. And this bumper right here probably won't be probably like nice and curved like it's supposed to be. It's probably gonna be like a flat look, which is fine by me. Actually, I really think it actually looks meaner that way. Looking straight on, looks all nice and flat. Looks like it's ready to eat you. So like a little Mad Max style. So right now I'm kind of tacking everything in. I'm gonna weld all these braces in here, and then I'm gonna flip it over on the other side and fill in all those holes, and we'll go from there. Let's see. All right, guys. So now I'm just about to weld all these little. See all these little gaps right here? I put all these little plates inside. I'm gonna fill all these up and grind it down and probably put some Bondo on it and just kind of make it clean, and then repaint the car, repaint the bumper, and put it back on the car, and we'll see what it looks like. So let's get going. Alright guys, here it is. Bumper's all finished. Painted back up. Does it look perfect? Nah, not close. But it looks a hell of a lot better than it did before. I went ahead and used a ultra matte black with a clear coat added to it. Just to get a little more shine, because I think I'm going to make the car a little bit more a shinier black than it is flat black. So I decided I want to try this out real quick with this. I actually really like the paint scheme itself. So it's a little straight, but yeah, it kind of hangs a little low right there. But I can always trim that part back later if I want to down the road. But I mean, it looks way better than it did 4 inches out before. I kind of like the flat bumper look, especially if I put fog lights or something like that in the front of it. I think it'll actually look pretty nasty. And then I'm probably gonna end up cutting this out right here and actually putting like an LED turn signal in there instead of because this already came broken to me. I just broke the rest of it out and cut that out and put a nice little LED one in there. I don't know if I'll keep this grill or go ahead and go to custom grill. But with the new black on there, if I paint this all nice and shiny black, I don't think it'll look too bad. So anyways, I hope you guys really liked this video, and like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time, the next project that I'll be doing on this car. Thank you.